So today we're going to be taking a look at Excel versus Dynamics 365 sales. We speak to many partners, we speak to many partners' customers, telling us that they're still using Excel as a CRM system. So we want to take a look at that. We want to take a look at how that looks. So coming up today, we're going to be taking a look at a few things: digital transformation in the role of the CRM, how you can tell that customers are outgrowing their solutions. We're going to do Excel versus sales head-to-head, and we're going to take a look at how Ingram Microcloud can help you. So joining me today, so I'll introduce myself first. I'm Matthew Battery, so I'm part of the global portfolio management team here at Ingram Microcloud. So my role is essentially heading up and running and basically leading on the programs and strategies for Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform at Ingram Microcloud. So I work with a number of markets. I get to work with great people in the UK, like my co-presenter. And on that topic, Ed, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Thanks, Matt. Delighted to go head-to-head with you again on another topic today. My name's Ed Smith. I'm a dynamic solution architect working for Ingram Micro in the UK. Like Matt, great opportunity to work with associates and partners globally as well. So I spend a lot of time engaging with partners, engaging with their customers, really understanding customer requirements, what we can do with Dynamics, how we line them up with the right implementation partner and drive value into their business. So yeah, spend a lot of time evaluating ERP and CRM solutions. So let battle commence, Mr. Batterby.
Amazing. Yes, if you haven't told, so we are actually going to be handling this topic a little bit differently than we normally do. Because normally both of us will bat Dynamics. But today we're doing it a little bit differently because I am a huge Excel geek. Love building reports in Excel, using Excel. Think it's brilliant. So I'm going to bat for Excel today. I'm going head-to-head with Ed, who is going to be batting for Dynamics 365. A couple of housekeeping rules. Some people have already used the Q&A to tell us we were live when we didn't know we were live, so you know where the Q&A box is. If you have questions throughout this session, feel free to ask. That's absolutely fine. And then also, if you're looking at it it's a bit more, feel free to, you can enlarge the image to full screen, just so you know, so you can see the slides a lot more clearly. Some people tend to miss that, so I just thought I'd highlight that. The first thing we're going to look at, before we go into kind of the advantages of Excel or anything like that, we're going to look at the digital transformation, the change in the game for CRM users. So there's some really key statistics when we look at digital transformation in CRM, in customer relationship management. And some of these statistics on the right-hand side that you can see there really highlight the advantages, if you like, of modernizing your CRM systems. 65% of sales teams using a mobile CRM solutions achieve their targets compared with 22% that don't. So it really highlights that if you can use a CRM solution that you can use on the go, you can use mobile, you can use from anywhere, anytime, whether online, offline, it's going to have a massive effect. So that's a really key one. 91% of all businesses with 11 people or more are using CRM software. And that's just to highlight really that, you know, some people look at, for example, a startup organization and think, well, maybe they don't need a CRM. Maybe Excel does the trick. And I am going to bat for Excel today, believe me. But it's just to highlight that actually a lot of organizations are starting smaller using CRM solutions. I myself worked for a startup company before I was at Ingram, before I was at Microsoft. And it was a great experience. We got to build everything from the ground up. And we found that, you know, when we eventually got a CRM solution, it really did change the game for us in the business that we were running. And 65% of people believe ease of use to be the most important thing when selecting a CRM, and I could not agree more. If you're a seller or anything where you need a CRM system, customer service agent, salesperson, you need to make sure that your CRM solution is easy to use. It needs to improve the adoption, it needs to improve the user experience. There's a really high statistic as well around the number of people that will leave an organization based on technology after or before their probation period ends. And I do agree with that statistic in some respects. I probably could not work without Microsoft Teams now. If I went to a company and they didn't use Microsoft Teams, I don't know if I could survive. I absolutely love it. I love the fact that I can use Dynamics within Teams as well as collaborating with people like Ed when we're building these presentations, all from within Microsoft Teams. So I do understand that ease of use is a huge factor when it comes to CRM. So what we're going to look at now as well is the key drivers. So key factors that are driving digital transformation, and what really people want to gain out of a better CRM solution, a more digitally transformed CRM solution. One of the key ones is real-time data. You do not want to be waiting until weekend, month end, anything like that to get sales statistics, anything like that. You don't even want to be waiting until the end of the day because something big can happen in the morning. There's no say in anything like that. So it needs to be in real time. And avoiding the data silos as well. One thing that we see time and time again is people maybe using Dynamics for one thing, but then using a completely different vendor for another solution. And that's a problem. You've got data silos. You've got people inputting data more than once. You've got solutions that aren't embedded with one another. I think I'm trying to get away from saying that, for example, Dynamics and Microsoft Teams are integrated. I prefer the term embedded now because I think it's seamless integration. It's embedded. It removes the data silos. It improves the reporting speed and improves productivity. So real time is really important. Personalization as well, being able to make it your own is really key. Is another key factor in driving digital transformation within CRM. So that is another one, and a really key one as well, mobile. I know that maybe for the last year, a lot of us haven't even been into an office for the last year and haven't really been mobile, but we've been at home. Being at home is still mobile. It's still out of the office, so it needs to be mobile. It needs to be able to adapt quickly to changes as well. Not only changes in the working environment, but just changes in customers' needs and requirements as well. So being mobile, being flexible, that's a really key one. And then AI and machine learning. I've already kind of touched on this with the data side of things, but AI and machine learning is huge when it comes to a CRM solution. Being able to gain insights into your customers, being able to use those insights, get actual insights on how to convert more opportunities. As a sales manager, being able to see, what one seller is doing to be really successful compared to another seller. All these different things. It's really important. So there's some of the key factors that are driving. So again, when you're thinking about your existing customer base, what are they currently using today? Is it hindering their performance? Is it hindering productivity? Or is it enabling them? Is it a solution that's going to grow with them as they grow? And is it going to enable them to grow? All these questions we should be asking. So we're going to get into the fight now. This is the fight area now. This is the ring. I really should have the guy, let's get ready to rumble right now. But this is it now. And I am fighting for Excel. I'm fighting for Excel today. So let's just get straight into this. The first thing that I want to highlight, and if anyone joined our NAV and GP versus Business Central webinar, if you didn't, feel free to go and watch that back. Another really good bit of content. We talk about when these solutions began. And when we look at them today, it was a bit of a different story with NAV and GP to Business Central, because now you've got this other solution that's Business Central that you could say is getting all the love and attention from Microsoft and all the updates and things like that. Whereas with Excel, actually look at it from start to finish. Excel has evolved. Excel you can do so much more with. I create, as part of my global role, I create some incredible reports tracking our performance globally within Excel. I create them and you can make them look really beautiful with maps and everything. You can do so much in it. I can embed it into Microsoft Teams. So people from all over the world can access those reports at any time and track performance in their market. So it's a really powerful tool. It has evolved over time and it continues to evolve as part of Microsoft 365. And as I say, it can be embedded into Microsoft Teams and so on. So we're going to look at the evolution of Microsoft Excel. And again, the advantages of using Excel. So it does allow you to zero in on data. It does allow you to do things a bit quicker as well. For example, I create these, as I say, these massive reports with quite a few tabs on them. And, it enables us to track performance and so on. I only really have to update one tab, and then everything else just happens automatically, and it makes it look great. It makes me look great, which is always a good thing. So, you know, it really is a powerful tool with what you can achieve with it. And again, you can take that and you can input customer data and all those kind of things in there. You know, taking advantage of things like the pivot charts and other tables and formulas and graphs and everything else that you have access to within Excel. I think it is a really brilliant tool. And what I wanted to do was prove Ed wrong, if I can, in any way, shape, or form. So I wanted to build my own CRM system to make Ed throw in the towel early. So I created one. Now, as a child, my dream was to own a gym. So for the next 5 minutes, I get to live my dream and own a gym. So it is Batterby's Gym. I'm having fun with this. My mission statement is to provide a place to maintain both physical and mental health. It's also a place to be open because all of them are closed right now. And yes, that is my baby and me having a bit of fun there. She loves to help me warm up when I'm doing a workout. And as you can see at the bottom, I've got a load of tabs as well. So it's not just you know, one Excel spreadsheet or anything like that. I'm using the tabs to my advantage. So just to kind of show you what I did with my Excel solution. Create a tab where I could track membership. There's different types of membership for a gym, so I tried to cover off quite a few. Whether it's a single adult, a couple, a family membership, under 16, off-peak, student, or over 60s membership, different prices monthly. And what I did was now I have a tracker where I can track each person when they join the gym. I can assign them a customer number and give them a membership card. And this is enabling me to track when they join the gym. If I want to give them a birthday present, we'll call it, of when they join, maybe a free PT session, I can do that because I can track it. When the day matches today's date, but a year later, I can make it, you know, appear in green using conditional formatting. All these really cool things that you can do within Excel to track it. You can also track the years they've been a member, what membership they have, and the package that they are currently using. What I've also done, created another tab so that essentially I can track whether they've paid or not. You can see on the right-hand side, if they haven't paid, they highlight in red. Essentially, it's quite a, I don't know if anyone else has been to a gym like this, where essentially you there's no direct debits. You just pay cash in hand, you pay £30 a month, and you're in and out kind of thing, and it's tracked quite manually. This is like a next step up from that. It's you tracking it within Excel. It's enabling me to understand which members are on which membership, how often are they visiting, all these kind of things. And then as a final one, because I do love a good pie chart or a graph or something, just enabling me to see who my members are, what type of members do I have, do I need to market to a certain criteria, do I not have enough family members, all these types of things. So I can harness that data and do marketing campaigns or anything like that, appear on local radio, who knows, to talk about Batterby's Gym and get more members. And I can also forecast. I can forecast, you know, my annual income, my monthly income. I can have a look at how many members I have accrued each year, so I can forecast for the next year. All these kind of things. So to me, this is a great CRM system. Nothing beats it. We may as well just end there, Ed. I will.
Yeah, I know this is an unfair fight in terms of size, Matt. So, you know, we can go head to head, but if you think I'm throwing the towel in straight away, I am going to hand you an absolute advantage by saying my On24 screen is showing a blank live view. So I'm just going to quickly try and see if I can actually get this slide. I can now see a slide deck saying it's time to fight back with D365 CRM. When you said throw the towel in, I was thinking, well, I'm punching blind anyway right now in terms of seeing the slide and the deck. Couple of things that I do want to call out, Mr. Batterby, before we go any further. Brilliant Excel. I've got to say that is a brilliant looking CRM system. I'm not going to knock Excel, and you are indeed an incredible level of data geek. However, bringing your baby daughter to the fight is a little bit unfair. So I think you went out of your way to reveal my age on the last webinar that we did. So really hammering that home with your brand new baby girl, I think that's a little bit unfair. But, you know, I'll let that one slide for now. The other question I need to ask, I've seen you work, I know the speed that you work at, and that's a pretty incredible CRM system. How long did that take you?
A little bit. I mean, I was probably clean shaven when I started building. A little bit. How many sleepless nights? I suppose that's the advantage of having Mava around as the new baby girl in the family. Plenty of sleepless nights and time for you to work overnight. But seeing as I chose to bring my age up, you know, tell me what slide you can see on the screen right now. So I've got It's Time to Fight Back. Do you want me to click next?
Let me just try my line. There we go. So you should be seeing the yellow pages.
Let me just have a look. I'm not. Can someone just write in the Q&A if you can see the yellow pages on the page right now? And I do apologize for having to ask you to do this. It just seems to be having a couple of issues with...
On 24 thinks I am presenting.
Right, it's just come in. Yeah, they can see the yellow pages, so go with it.
Brilliant, Steve, Terry, thank you very much for your help. I thought, seeing as you brought my age to the fore on the last webinar, and you brought your baby daughter to the fight, which is like really, really going for it. I thought I'll just highlight my age, comparing that evolution of Excel from where it was to where it is today. Back when I was a nipper, our version of a CRM system, frankly, was the yellow pages. If anybody remembers the advert, let your fingers do the walking. Searching for contact data was often a case of hitting the yellow pages, hitting the phone, and guess what? Our opportunity to record those contact details was indeed paper-based on a Rolodex. And if any of you don't know what that is, kids, go look it up on Google, the kind of thing that doesn't exist anymore. But in terms of capturing and recording who we're talking to, which organization, what do we want to do, and why do we want to do this with them? That was the initial evolution of CRM in my world. Of course, that has absolutely evolved to modern CRM solutions. I don't want to have to keep asking the question about what anybody can see on screen, because I've got one view that says a view of a CRM system and one screen that is entirely blank in terms of what I think I can see.
I think if we just keep clicking, I think you'll be all right.
Yeah, sweet. There's a live caption on the top of On24 to tell me what it thinks we can see. So we're talking about evolution. I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to play this presentation on my screen as we go through as well. Evolution of modern CRM, of course, the advent of digital transformation, Dynamics customer engagement, which is the Microsoft phrase for CRM, sat within the Dynamics stack. We've got a range of upgrade options, starting from sales professional at an entry level, going through towards sales enterprise, and a couple of things that you actually shouted out brilliantly there in my favor, Matt, when you started to talk about your fantastic Excel system embedded within Teams. Absolutely. Something maybe I can call out as we go, like integration with CRM. Maybe I'll get one of the first punches in. We can embed within Teams. Where we can go with Dynamics customer engagement is really thinking about an application that's part of the entire ecosystem for Microsoft and that Dynamics suite of applications. And one of the things that, oh, here we go. My display appears to be one behind anything that you might be seeing on screen. So I am now trusting that you can see a picture of mobile phones, because Dynamic CRM, entirely mobile, browser agnostic, hosted on Azure, and it's software as a service. So some of the cool things that means in terms of real life, again, when we're comparing against Excel, there's quite a big team of developers at Microsoft, which is a great thing. They develop Excel and they develop Dynamics. Different teams, obviously. Thinking about the impact on our end customers, the customer engagement solutions are offered as evergreen products. That means they're always being updated in the background. So the team of Dynamics developers within Microsoft reacts to customer requests, comes out with new features, new products, new integrations, new opportunities. And we can wrap around things like Power Platform now, so it's built on the same architecture and sharing the same kind of data. If we kind of compare and contrast that with Excel, Batterby's Gym, developed by a massive development team of one. So you've got the sole responsibility effectively for maintaining your own system, which is great. You're totally in control. Sat in the background of Microsoft, obviously huge resources. And if we push this out to mobile devices, it's an entirely different view of the same data. Here's one of the key differences that I'll kind of call out as we go through. I think Excel manages data. CRM solutions manage the actions based on the data. And that, I think, is one of the key differences in terms of where we're going with these two applications. So thinking about some of the advantages, Matt, I try to match these up against some of the ones that you were calling out. Easy to customize solutions. So starting with customer engagement, we can absolutely start with an out-of-the-box application with zero customization. And one of the things that we often target with our implementation partners, depending on what our customers need and how soon they need it, is to try and minimize that time to value. And that's the time from shaking hands on a deal to actually getting an implementation in place. Rapid acceleration, rapid deployment, and the easiest way to do that is with a non-customized application. So we can go in with a very, very simple implementation. It's quick to learn, it's quick to understand. However, we've got loads of configuration and customization options so that we can make the screens work and look the way you want them to work. We can build process flows in to suit the business requirements. And again, this is an area I need to call out between Excel and customer engagement, because the process flows that we deliver are designed to offer us best practice, easy customization, so that we can bend and shape it to suit the requirements of an organization. I'm going to show you examples over the next few slides. Matt, I loved your graphical representation. Having worked with Matt for the last 14 months, when he said he's a data geek, that's one of the understatements of the year. The guy lives and breathes, I think, in Excel and Power BI, which is fantastic. And the data representations are just awesome within Excel, as well as within customer engagement. Absolutely not going to knock Excel, because I think it's brilliant for the smaller applications, and especially in applications where one or maybe two people or maybe three people are all working within one single application. I guess one of the great challenges is what we do with that data. When you're managing your data, if you've got 2 or 3 people working in the same spreadsheet and you're sharing this online, it's probably going to get a little bit laggy. That's certainly the experience that we get sharing spreadsheets around over Teams, for instance. You can drop them down and take them offline. What kind of challenge does that give us when we're into version control, for instance? Who's managing what update? How many times have Matt, you and I been super frustrated? We both updated the same spreadsheet offline in 2 different versions, and it's a good job I work with a data geek who can cut and paste 5 times faster than I can, because eventually we get back to that single source of the truth. Preferably, we never leave the single source of the truth. So everybody working on the same data with different front screens to suit different processes and applications, of course, that's where CRM comes in. I'm going to run through some of the screens. I think you'll agree it's a very familiar feel. I'll actually show you a couple of screens that look, feel, and behave exactly like Excel. And that means accelerated learning and fast implementation is a reality. It's not just a pipe dream. This is what we do on a day-to-day basis. and I want to come back on some of the integration opportunities. I think I've talked quite a lot. I'll pick up on automate because that's absolutely an area to go through. But rather than going with a generic CRM system, I thought I'd go head to head with you, Matt, on this one and look at a membership system. This membership system, I'm going to cut and chop between some of the screenshots between a sandbox and a live environment. This is one of the accelerators because we can take an out-of-the-box CRM solution, working with our elite solution, elite service providers. They're in the top 1% of Microsoft partners globally. They live and breathe CRM in the same way that you, Mr. Batterby, lives and breathes in the world of Excel and data geekdom. So this is a real-life screenshot. I've taken it from a sandbox from one of our implementation partners. So you can see on the top left, it's actually flagged up as a membership option. So I think that I was well impressed by your Excel CRM. Looking at it and going through the data that we're holding, the processes and what we're representing, I won't read down the menu on the left-hand side. I'm going to pick that out later on. That menu is all about standard CRM with an add-on that you can see about halfway down the screen around membership. The pie charts, the bar charts, the representations within there are showing us everything that we need to know about membership, who's a full member, who's not a full member, when they were created on. Over on the right, the top right, tracking lost members. Obviously, we don't want to lose any members. It's inevitable that people move around, but we can track the reasons that they left, all the actions that we took, what do we do to try and keep them, as well as along the bottom left, you can see the potential members. So if we're reaching out from within our CRM system, we're pushing out to marketing, we're creating our opportunities, we may be targeting local companies, offering a discount. Maybe we're doing what we should do. We're reaching out to NHS workers, offering a discount to say thank you, give them a reward so that when we do reopen the gyms, we can get people in with a fair price, as well as looking at the upcoming renewals. So Matt, I was quite interested. You've got your, I think you had your joining dates, your membership type. How does your Excel remind you about your upcoming renewals?
Conditional formatting with some success.
So that's pretty good. That is pretty cool. I'm not going to catch you out that easily, am I? But in terms of putting actions and activities against an individual, this is where Excel is brilliant, isn't it? When you've got a few people working on something when everybody knows what everybody's doing. I don't care if it's a membership scheme, another format of CRM, a kind of basic level of an ERP solution, a manufacturing solution. When you're at the size of business where everybody's involved in all the decisions and we all know what everybody's doing, we don't need great systems, do we? I would love to see the day when Batterby's Gym extends from being on the Wirral to moving into Chester and Manchester, on Leeds and Newcastle. And that's the point that we start to spread, we start to get disparate workers. Communication becomes a lot more important. So pushing out upcoming renewals as actions and activities against our employees could become quite important. If we're simply looking at lists of data, then of course we've got this. If I want to drill into my active membership, then this is just a simple inquiry. I can add columns to it. I can filter against it. I'm sure you'll agree. It kind of looks like Excel at this point. And indeed, it behaves like Excel as well. I can change sort sequences. I can change the filters. I can display what's important for me. Now, if I'm your gym manager working up in Newcastle in a couple of years when Batterby's Gym has extended, I might want a slightly different view than you do, Matt. But I want to work in the same system. You did give me a real winning opportunity right in the intro when you said real-time visibility of data is probably quite important when we're talking about digital transformation. So thank you for lining me up with that kind of low blow that I can come in with now, because real-time visibility of data, but having access to the data and maybe viewing it from a different perspective. If I'm the manager of the gym in Newcastle, I might even want just a restricted view to see all the active members in Newcastle. Given that now you're a group owner because you've expanded, you want a view which shows you all the members in all the gyms around the country. Same data, sliced and diced in a different way, but within the same application, the same tool. You can expand Excel and you can use Power BI, you can use Excel reporting. One of the absolutely brilliant things, I will just shout this out, marginally off topic, Microsoft Ignite last week announced where they're going with the platform, Power Platform in Dynamics. It's using the same kind of language that Excel is written in, and it's extending it. Very, very similar context. One of the great things you'll find about that is that if you've got Excel skills and a little bit of PowerPoint or presentation skills, as Matt, you obviously have with the charts and the graphs, transferring those skills into Dynamics and Power Platform will be an absolute walk in the park for you. And as I drill down into my active members, I can drill down and I can see all the actions and any associations. We built in associated members. So as we start to vary those membership types, as you did, Matt, I might have an individual member, bronze, silver, or gold, depending on time usage, and any associated member or family membership. Of course, membership types are easy to define for the end customer. We don't have to go back to an implementation or a service partner to make those changes for us. And if you notice across the top, I'm not going to go through each and every one of the tabs. I've got some general references to this member, along with a reference of all the invoices, any events, any cases. So that a case might be a customer, either a customer complaint or something that's a customer has flagged up, maybe a health and safety issue. So within a single application, I can handle not just my membership, but I can handle all of the commercial activities that takes me through the membership, renewals, any invoices that I generate and send out, as well as marketing, as well as some areas of customer support. And a couple of nice areas that I will call out as we go through, because based around that member, if I'm coming up for a renewal, whether I'm gaining a new member or doing a renewal for an existing member, I'd just like to call your attention to the bar across the top. So this is a process flow. A lot of these come out of the box. They're easy to bend and shape and manipulate. So you can see against this member, we've got attract, onboard, and renew. If I'm looking to onboard a new member, then this is simple to build a process flow. I've just called it out with a box just to make it stand out from the background a little bit. So our onboarding process will control and remind me of and allocate a task against a person to send out a membership pack and capture what the joining date is, what the membership fee is, and what that subscription is. So Matt, I love your idea. Rock up with your cash every month. We'll do this kind of on a trust basis, but pay at the front desk. Otherwise, you're not going to come back tomorrow for your session. We can take a similar approach. We can build in subscriptions. We can do that with direct debits. Of course we can. And when we're coming up for a renewal, what activities do we need to take care of to send out that renewal subscription, remind people about their invoice, about their benefits, about the renewal due date, and we can change the fees over time. Full integration with M365. Again, Excel's brilliant up to a point, but as we start to expand, have more people involved, as the organization grows and we really want to track and trace what we're doing, as well as having the control mechanisms with the process bar to say, we must do this before we can do that. What I'd like to do is record all of the activities. So that quick drop-down list there showing me appointments, emails, phone calls, and tasks. If, for instance, we were going out for telephone follow-ups with everybody whose renewal is due next month, we might try and do this a month in advance, set a bunch of tasks and activities which we can allocate against a team or an individual, and then we can track and trace every appointment, email, and phone call that we have made to that individual. And here's one of the great things about Microsoft Customer Engagement, and M365, part of this whole ecosystem, this infrastructure that we can bring to the fore. So thank you to Kurt at Cloud9 for helping me out with the configuration on this. We can track and trace any emails to our contacts. Sat within Outlook, we've got full traceability into customer engagement. We can set these to automatic. One of the things I will say is that in terms of being an advocate of the systems that we are proposing here, Ingram Micro uses Dynamics CRM as our CRM solution. I think we're 35,000 people globally. I can't tell you exactly how many of us all use the same CRM system, but we've got different implementations across regions, countries. We use M365. We track and trace all of our customer interaction, all of the tasks and the activities, the emails, the follow-ups, the opportunities, the renewals, etc., can be tracked into our CRM systems. So I think here's the major difference. I think Excel is a fabulous, fabulous, flexible tool. In terms of scale, this is where we start to find opportunities and find benefits. Building out into opportunities. I thought I'd drop this one in, Matt, just in case I do end up ever working for you as your gym empire starts to expand. I would use this to track my potential commission within the channel based on the opportunities. So I'm still sat within the same tool here. So we've gone from how do I track and trace who my members are and remind them about when they want to renew. So pushing this out to an element of marketing, renewals. We've got commercial aspects with the invoicing, opportunities, cash flow forecasting, and building out into, in my selfish case here, looking at potential commissionable opportunities and what's coming through, along with loads of flexible reporting and data representations. You know, I was tempted to not try and match your data representations because I know you're far better at this than I am. So I reached out to somebody who could do it far better than I can. As an example of Power BI. Power BI, part of the Power Apps suite of solutions within Microsoft. Actually, the Power Apps applications written using, as I said before, the same kind of language, the same style, the same kind of structure and mechanism as our customer engagement applications are written. That means that we can share common data. So not only can I think about reporting off this data, the source of this data might be partly fed from my CRM system and partly fed from, say, a payment system that we integrate with. So rather than cash on the door, if I'm doing direct debits, if I'm doing debit cards when you walk through for a day membership, full integration in real time. Something I think you said was quite important as we start to expand. So as many views of the data, sliced and diced as we like. You can tell I didn't write this. It's far more artistic than my usual efforts. So thanks again, Kurt, but great drill downs that allow us to click on different segments within a screen, drill into a chart, drill into the data and see what we're working with. I won't try and take credit for anybody else's work. Thinking about, I should have said I won't try and take too much credit. Of course, I'll try and bathe in the reflected glory of somebody else's expertise, which is exactly why we work with our elite solution providers to deliver that kind of system. Thinking about expansion, ease of management, and where we go with this. The reason I picked this screen out is we actually administer our licenses through office.com. It's the same kind of portal that we're all familiar with. And the integration with Teams, Dynamics, and with Excel. Let's absolutely not knock Excel because it is a brilliant tool, easy for manipulation. Matt, I know you and I have both worked on Excel when we starting to mock up things for Power BI, for instance, when we're doing modeling, when we're doing those kind of processes, and building out from that to what we want to maybe deliver to a bigger team. So absolutely fit for purpose. It's a bit of an unfair fight because at times we're not comparing apples and apples. It's all based on the business scenario. But this integration with Power Apps, with Outlook, with Power BI, native to both systems, which is just absolutely awesome. I wanted to flick up just on this screen. This is an out-of-the-box, very standard CRM system, so I've not even overlaid the membership, and I wanted to use this really just to call out, following those processes down the left-hand side, dashboards and activities at the top, absolutely customizable, so I get the dashboard that I want to see. There lies a difference with Excel, maybe different views of the same data. Kind of goes back to that comparison. Excel manages the data, CRM manages the processes that wrap around and hang off the data. What I did just down the right-hand side was just give myself some reminders there. So on the left where we see accounts and contacts, that's kind of Rolodex 2021, where I open the slide deck with the yellow pages with a Rolodex for writing things down. A very simple replication, a mechanism here. If you want to move from Excel into a CRM system, we can take your Excel data, help you tidy it up, and import it really easily into customer engagement. The very basic starting point is give me your accounts, give me your contacts. Guess what I can do when I've got that, though? If you give me the phone number, maybe we integrate with Teams with a calling plan, and we start dialing out of CRM and out of Teams. We've got the kind of integration pieces. Teams is becoming more and more that, I'll use the phrase, the unified interface that we never need to leave. I can manage my email, my calendar, my CRM, my ERP system, my phone system without having to leave Teams. And I can build Power Apps and Power Automate in the background if I need to move some data around. The processes down the left give us sales. We've got the collateral to go from inquiry and orders, from prospecting through to delivery, through to invoicing with supporting literature. And depending on what license we take and how we configure this, we can reach out for marketing. So we've got the benefit of sales control, process support, and that customer reach. In the head-to-head, I did say it could be a bit of an unfair fight because it depends on the business scenario. On a head-to-head, I thought I'd start by bringing the head in. To start with, I just picked some of the key kind of errors that typically we're discussing with our customers, with our partners, with Ingram, and we can line these up and see how they compare. So Matt, we can argue about this. I'm sure we can both argue a very good argument for who should win in this scenario. I would say that Dynamics 365 isn't really prone to human error because we've got more processes, we've got the mechanics and the data validation that guides us all the way through. Now, I would say your spreadsheet is more prone to human error. You can build your validation around it. You can build the macros. If you type anything like I do, then I need a validation piece in the background on a field-by-field basis to give me that kind of control. Do they both provide great visibility? I'd say yes, they do. I think in the scenarios that we're running with them, based on the audience that we're working with, they provide great visibility because they will both be an upgrade from the thing that you had before. Before your Excel-based gym membership system, you were probably working on a notepad. So moving to Excel is a great move forward. Moving from that to CRM is obviously a leap into the unknown for you now, but as the gym keeps expanding, then fantastic. Are they both robust? Again, based on the scenario, I'd say yes, they are. But as we start to expand our membership scheme, this CRM is just going to batter your Excel. I'm sorry, it always will do. They will, however, both increase accuracy because it's process-based, isn't it? It's what's important to us. It's what we've moved from and what we're moving to. So they will increase accuracy. Potentially, they decrease time and effort. I love your line on that one. You were clean shaven before you started writing that CRM system. It decreases time and effort based on what you're trying to achieve. And I couldn't think of a better way of phrasing this one in the end: harmonious efficiency. The scope of the activities and the reach that we've got with the CRM solution as opposed to Excel gives us that opportunity to really configure the piece to suit our business needs. I'll touch on this just with a couple of wrap-up slides just around the product, really focus on when do we know the business is outgrowing. One of the things I would say for advocating or championing customer engagement and CRM solutions for Microsoft, How are you going to know when it's outgrowing, when your business demands that you add more value into it? When you can see a way of adding more value to your organization and you're thinking, oh, wouldn't it be great if I had some sales insights into my customers? If only there was an AI engine, perhaps, that gave me some forecasting and insights, a little bit like the AI sales insights that we get with Dynamics. Or if only there was maybe an ERP or a finance system in the background that I could expand to, maybe something like Business Central. Within this structure, within the range, one of the things that I'm pretty confident about, I think we're all very, very confident about, is it's very, very unlikely that you would ever outgrow the Dynamics ecosystem. If Batterbeast Gyms ever got to the point when you were saying, this Dynamics suite isn't man enough to support my business anymore, I'd be delighted, because your organization would be immense to even get near stretching the limits of the ecosystem. So I think in terms of the head-to-head and the fight, shouldn't be right to say I rest my case at that point. It should be an unfair fight. It's
Yeah, I think I'll throw in the towel on this one. I think you've definitely proved your point many times. I think you're 100% right, and I openly admit, I remember when I worked for a startup company before my time at Microsoft, we started with Excel, we very quickly outgrew it, and we needed something better. We needed something that was easier for use, less prone to human error. That was a big one. We built like a 100-seat call center using Excel spreadsheets. That's just a nightmare. Using a CRM system, much better approach. And then it highlights this on this slide here, and I'm hoping you can see the slide there. How do you know you're outgrowing your CRM or ERP? We've touched on some of these points already today, but just to kind of hit them home a little bit, these are the kind of things you can be asking your customers about, or if you're a Microsoft partner, you should be talking to your customers about. CRM and ERP conversations are so different. It's not a conversation to go in and say, Dynamics is right for you, or the answer is Dynamics. First, we need to find out what the question is. First, we need to find out what the problems are. So going in and just understanding your customer's business, understanding the processes they have in place to them, understanding what they're using today and what the problem with what they're using today is. You'd be amazed the amount of companies you'll go and speak to that still have paper-based processes. It's crazy. I recently bought a house, and the solicitor emailed us something and said, "Can you print this off and sign it?" I said, "No, I've never owned a printer. Why would I just don't own one." But you'd be amazed the amount of businesses still running paper-based processes. So it really is amazing. So going having those conversations with your customers is key to this, and we can help you do that. Definitely with our program, we can help you. Ed and I, and Martin as well, who's based in the UK. Mark, happy to jump on calls with you, talk to you more about this, talk to you more about the opportunity, and talk to your customers as well, and really help you. Definitely a lack of vision is a key one as well. So do they have a 360-degree view of their business? Do they have a 360-degree view of their customers? Are they harnessing data and insights? The term data is the new oil, for example. Are they harnessing their data to do more with it? Are they using AI and machine learning for forecasting? Are they using their data to increase sales conversion, to increase customer loyalty, to improve processes, to speed up productivity, all these kind of things? User and customer dissatisfaction as well kind of go hand in hand. I mentioned before, if people aren't using great technology, people are going to leave the business because it's a frustrating working environment. So are the solutions that your customers using, are they enabling their staff, or are they not enabling? And then the same with the customers. If, for example, you're calling through to a call center and it takes all day to find your information and all this kind of stuff, its simplest form, that's an absolute nightmare. It's a pain. So being able to, access customer data really quickly, make sure the customer's data is correct. Again, I've already thrown in the towel, but with an Excel spreadsheet, the problem is how easy is it to just delete a cell or delete a column and not realize, unless you're a big Excel data geek, and not realize you've done that. Or sometimes, I do it sometimes, where you do Control V to pay something and you accidentally just type V. And then all of a sudden you've deleted a load of stuff because instead of pasting, you've just typed V. And okay, you can click undo if it's really noticeable, but what I mean is, to some people, it might not be noticeable. It might just be a couple of cells that have been deleted. And all of a sudden you've lost customer data. So I think that's a big one. And security concerns goes back to the data silos. And to be honest, with security concerns and the data silos, it doesn't even have to be that they're using Excel, something quite basic. They could just be using another CRM system. But yeah, they're using Microsoft 365, so why wouldn't they use Dynamics 365? You know, removing those data silos, improving productivity, improving security, everything under one vendor is really key. So they're the kind of telltale signs. There's a couple of different kinds of customers as well. There's evaluators and switchers. So with evaluators, you're looking at people, you're looking at customers that have outgrown their CRM system. So potentially using something very basic, could be Excel, could be another CRM system, but they've outgrown it, they need something new, they need to upgrade. So they're going to be really evaluating. They don't want to have to upgrade again. They say a bad CRM or ERP system is one you outgrow in 5 years. There's a lot out there that companies are outgrowing much faster. Dynamics, Ed showed that slide earlier, you cannot outgrow it. It will continue to grow with you. It will enable you to grow and grow with you. So it's an absolutely brilliant tool. So from an evaluator standpoint, you really are going to get to hit those points. Switches are a little bit different. They haven't outgrown it, they're just annoyed with it. And it could be that they're using Excel, it could be they're using something else. So, you know, one of the top competitors of Dynamics they could be using, which isn't a bad CRM system, but is it embedded in Microsoft Teams? Is it embedded in Outlook? Is it enabling better productivity? Probably not, because nothing's embedded with Teams and Outlook in the way that Dynamics is. You can have long-winded integrations that cost money and time, but it's not going to be the same. So switches, there could be these problems, and it's going to be annoying them. So, you know, by understanding your customers' problems, the hardest part is going to be to tell a switcher to be quiet for 5 minutes, because they're going to start moaning and they ain't going to stop because they're not happy. They have it so much. And by opening up these conversations, you'll be amazed the amount of opportunities that come from it. I'll just highlight some of these questions. And this isn't like these are the 4 questions you need to go and ask or anything like that. It's just to give you an idea of questions to ask your customers. And they're all open questions. It's just about opening the conversation up. What are you currently using today? What's important to your business? What processes do you currently have in place that take too long? Really open questions and get them talking. Ed and I were involved in an opportunity a while ago now, and I know it was a while ago because we were face-to-face with the end customer. That's how long ago it was. But what we actually uncovered was the opening gambit of that conversation was the customer saying, we need a CRM system. Great. In our head, we went in thinking maybe it's D365 sales. By the end of the conversation, it was sales, customer service, field service, and business central. That wasn't us trying to upsell or sell to or anything like that. It was just the customer was talking to us and saying, well, we've got field service technicians. Okay, there's field service. Talk to them about that. We have a customer service team. Okay, that's a slightly different CRM. It's customer service. Really opening up that conversation. And then it just so happened that they were about to upgrade or they were a couple of months away from upgrading from their Sage. And it was a case of, well, if you're ready for that renewal anyway, why don't you look at Business Central as an ERP solution? That way, you're literally all on Microsoft. You've got Dynamics 365. You're already using Microsoft 365. Let's simplify things for you. So having these open conversations with your customer, you're going to open up so many opportunities. And they say that a standard kind of tech spend, 40% of it is on CRM and ERP. So if you're not offering these solutions, someone else will be, and you're missing out on a huge chunk of opportunity. For every $1 of margin that's involved in Microsoft 365, it's like $8.23 on Dynamics. So huge sales opportunity, but also huge opportunity to add incredible value. And I hope we've got that across today. Huge value that you can add, and we can enable you to do this through our program. So our Dynamics 365 Accelerate program, we're actually enabling any partner to start transacting Dynamics 365. We have all the resources, tools, collateral, and people in place to help you do that. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm just conscious of time, but we are actually enabling this. So I just want to go to that slide. There we go. The step-by-step there. So once we've got you onboarded into our program, we have a lot of collateral. One thing that we also have is a partner teams channel. We actually presented this yesterday at a Power Platform workshop that we presented to over 200 people. I put my email address in the teams chat and my inbox went insane. So adding a lot of value to partners. So if you're not in that teams channel, please let me know and we can get you added in. There is a lot of dynamics, a lot of Power Platform content, resource tools, and also Microsoft tools as well, things to help you with your Microsoft partnership, and also things like your co-op funding debates, all this kind of stuff. But yeah, essentially with our program, we can do sales training, we can do Cloud Ascent optimization. If you've not heard of Cloud Ascent, it's a great way for you to boost cross-sell and upsell into your existing customer base. We help you optimize that data so you can have better conversations with your customers. We provide marketing, and then we have pre-sales as well, so we can actually get on calls with you, your own customer, do demos, do a bit of scoping work, understand the opportunity. I always introduce Ed, in this point, as Ed as a service, but essentially we have the support structure there to help you, and we provide implementation services where you still sell the licenses, but you have a top partner providing those implementations. So this program, there's no risk, no investment, but it enables you to capitalize on this huge opportunity in business applications that's scheduled to be around $250 billion worth of a business by 2023. It's a huge opportunity across all of biz apps. So we just want to make sure that we're enabling you as best as possible. So I'm going to stop there. I could go into more detail. I'm just very conscious of time. And I know in the current climate of remote working, everyone is back-to-back on calls. So I'm seeing that it's 2 minutes to 3 and people are probably sweating. They've got to rush to the next call. But I do want to say a massive thank you, as always, to Ed for the content that he puts together. Always absolutely brilliant. And thanks to everyone that attended and people that are watching this back on demand. Really appreciate it. If anyone has got any questions, feel free to fill out the Q&A. Even if we've dropped off or anything, the Q&A, we'll get those afterwards. Or drop us an email. That's absolutely fine. You've got me, Matthew.Batby@ingrammicro.com. Matthew spelled with 1 T, remember that bit. And then Edwin.Smith@ingrammicro.com. Feel free to reach out to us, any questions. If you're interested in the program, interested in the Teams channel, anything at all, we're available always. So massive thank you.
Great stuff. Thank you, Matt.
No problem. Now, I don't want to, I've got a feeling we're probably still live at this point. So if any questions do come in, feel free to bring them into the Q&A. Happy to answer any questions. But Emma, if you want, we are ready to turn off, just so you know. I'm waiting for an alert now to tell me that she's turned off because I have no idea.
Well, there's certainly a challenge with